Hello out there in Radioland. Who's calling in?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe Perry?
Yeah.
How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Good to hear your voice.
How are you? It's been a long time, man.
It is. When you lived in Somerville, I have to thank you again. I spent Thanksgiving over there. It was very nice of you.
Yeah. God, it was a long time ago, man. You know, but a lot of water under the bridge, as they say.
I love your new record. What can I say? It's my favorite of all your records, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Thanks a lot.
It's stunning.
I really appreciate that. Thanks.
And
you know
me, if I didn't like it, what I said about Patty Duke's record, they took the wrecking ball to Patty Duke's career. I mean, they destroyed her in that album. I'm sorry. But no, when I give compliments, I'm not just blowing steam because I know you. I would have said, Joe, I don't know, man, this is great. It's great.
Oh, thanks. I really was impressed with the questions for the couple of things you throw out as potential things you're going to ask me, and it was like it's really. I can tell that you listen to the record, but really listen to it, and without any preconceptions, and or maybe some, because I've put out various things that have been some I look back and then go, well, that was pretty good, and the other ones it's like, well, it was the sign of the times, but I can do another one that's or whatever, and I'll fix it when we play it live. Whatever, but this one definitely it felt like it came out from a whole different way, and I don't know. It is I can actually listen back to it, and actually I like it, So, and that very rarely happens with me, I don't listen back to Aeorsmith stuff. I don't think I ever did really listen to the records. Now I do, because I listen back to them and I can appreciate what everybody's talking about. But usually I never go back and listen to my own records. And this is the first one that I probably because the guys that are singing on it, I'm also a fan. So I really dig that they're going on it, and it what I mean is that they're really taking off and giving it up. So I don't know, I really like the record, but that's kind of another thing for me to say, like I said, but you'd think of everybody would be into their whatever they do, but this one really seems to work, and so I'm looking forward to tonight to be able to play some of the stuff. Anyway, so how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I've been up to radio. I've been doing public access forever, since spanning to 79. But this radio station here is really taking off, Boston Free Radio. So it is in an access station, but it gives me a chance to talk to, I get Steve Katz coming up, the producer of Lou Reed, the guy from Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yeah.
And you know what a Lou Reed fan I am, so I'm like, wow. It's so much fun. I get to talk to David Clayton Thomas and you, and then some of my old interviews from TV, Jodie Foster, I air them on the radio. So I'm having fun, Joe.
Well, that's the most important thing, and that's what's going to show in whatever you do, whether it's a performance or a painting or writing something, or whatever you do. It's that's the most important thing, and it shows. It really especially when you start getting good at it, and that's the thing. Whenever you have, you're following your dream or whatever, or you feel like you're getting a little better at every day, whatever it is, and that's really the most important thing. And you can feel it, and you can, that's why there's this business about stopping or the end of a career. It's not a career like you have a regular job. It's kind of like it's in your blood, and you got to keep doing it, and that's it. And you just can't get better at it. You can't help it, So that's the payoff. That's great. I mean, I think that really shows what, in a lot of ways, like music and there's other arts. It's like that, but in music, which is so fluid, and live performance and records, and either people, it's in the air and people are playing it or not. You know, it's not something tangible you can hold on to like a painting or whatever. It's like it's starting to become like it used to be. Like it starts in like various regions will have like their favorite bands again, and with the internet and the kind of radio you're doing, you can get to do things that are more localized, and then sometimes it can spread out, and it's a lot like it was in the late '60s, as far as rock and roll goes. It's like there's different areas where bands can come out of again, and people have control what they want to hear, and it's in a lot of ways it's really good. But at least that's what I've been seeing.
Well, back in the day, I had a radio station, AM 1570, and it was I think we were 50,000 watts. But the joke was, you could yell out the window and get higher ratings. We were up on the North Shore, but with the Facebook, we're reaching thousands of people on Facebook with the online radio. It's pretty amazing.
No, that's great. That's great, and that's it just spreads it out, and then of course once it's out there, it can go anywhere. I mean, there's people in Russia that can be listening to it if they want to know what's going on in Boston, and that's another advantage to it, So anyway, I got a split to go to sound check in about 20 minutes. So what I was thinking was, if we could do it do this in two parts, one more talking about today and tonight, and then maybe fill it in if you're up for that. I know we emailed you last night about that, but we haven't checked the computer today to see if what your response was, how you felt about that.
Oh, Joe, the door's always open to you, man. You and Billy. Billy did graphic artist for me. She was my graphic artist back in 1980. The door's always open to you and Billy. Come on.
Well, just an idea, because, like I said, I think the questions are really good, and we can do some stuff we're talking about here about tonight, and then finish it off tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Kind of do it in two parts. So
I got a question for you about your singer tonight. I blew it. The thing was, I did PR for a band called The Dream, and a guy named Gary Sharon. And where is he tonight?
Well, he's going to be right to my right, about 3 feet away, holding down the his end of the vocal thing. Man, he's amazing. It's great. It's great. There's a couple. We'll be playing a song tonight that wasn't done in time to make the CD, but we're going to put out some vinyl this summer, and we'll put probably four more songs on there that haven't been released yet. But we've been playing this song that he sang on that just came along too late, for the CD, and it's a knockout. And so he'll be singing that, but he'll be singing a lot of the stuff too, and it's been great working with him, and I'm looking forward to doing a lot more with him.
He's just such a nice guy. He was on the TV show. I love Gary.
Yeah, he's it was funny, but because I'd finished this track, Quake, in London on the last Aeorsmith tour. We had some time there, some days off, and booked some studio time to work on some new stuff. And my youngest son, I flew both of my boys out, Roman and Tony. And Roman came in, and we worked on this tune, and it was turning out to be an instrumental. It was really tight and really it really had some good hooks in it, and and then when I mixed the, we left London having mixed the song, and we got back to the States, and got the CD out. I mean, the CD I think it hadn't been out yet, but anyway, the song was just sitting there. I hadn't finished it yet, and Gary, who's Paul Geary, who's my manager, my personal manager now, outside of all the Aerosmith stuff. He does everything, like everything I do outside of Aerosmith. So he sent it. He obviously knows Gary, having been in Extreme together, and he said he called me up and said, I don't know, we know each other, but I don't know. We're still, figuring out our, relationship. And he said, I hope you don't mind, but I gave the song to Gary to listen to, and see what he thought, and maybe put something down, get some ideas. And I said, no, of course it's fine, that's what I want you to do. And if you get an idea like that, that's great. And especially since because I had heard it, and just about that same day, and I was blown away, because Gary cut loose on it and really brought it up, and so that was that was it. And then of course whenever I was putting some of these side projects together, the first person I called was Gary to sing, and I think I know it's working out, and I hope we can do a bunch more stuff together.
Now, Record Store Day is this Saturday, and they're saying that there's 2 bonus tracks from Joe Perry. Can you tell us what they are?
Which I'm not sure I know. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Or what?
Record Store Day happens every year, and it's this Saturday. And there's advertisements out there, 2 bonus tracks from Joe Perry for the on the vinyl, I guess, this Saturday.
Well, I don't know. I got to talk to Paul about that. I'm not sure about that, but I certainly have 2 tracks that, will. Like I said, we have 4 actually that are going to go on the vinyl, and I got to talk to him this afternoon and find out what that's about. But one of them, I think, will probably be the one we're talking about.
Now,
so,
I know your time's tight, but I knew P.F. Sloan. I don't know if you know that, if you ever met him.
No, I never did. It's funny because there's also a football player or something like that, and somebody sent me that's his name, and that's what came up on the computer, right off. I'm sure if you dig a little bit, you can find out, the real guy. But no, I never met him. I just remember when the single came out, and it was one of the biggest songs at that point, because there was so much going on in the late '60s that just said it all. It was kind of really right to the point protest song, no ambiguity. It was right on the money, and it was. So, what was it like interviewing him?
Well, it wasn't an interview because you worked with the late Jimmy Miller, my friend from the Stones, and we were out in Los Angeles twice, and P.F. was the boyfriend of this girl, Jamie, that was part of our entourage. So we were hanging out with P.F., having dinner with him, and he was a very introspective guy. He didn't talk much, but he would have probably had great conversations with you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he certainly said a lot in those lyrics. So I've wanted to cut that song almost every decade, or every time I was, had a chance to do something solo or to put out a record or anything like that. I've always wanted to cover it because the lyrics always seemed appropriate at the time. And that's been, how long? 48 years now or whatever, I'm not sure. 50 years closing in, and the lyrics still work today. So I figured it was about time. And that's kind of what it was the first song that we tracked when Johnny and I were talking about doing this solo record out at his place, and we were up late and talking, and we went down in the studio, and he sat down at the drums and started playing this beat, and I played some guitar on it and sang the vocals, and figured, well, this is a good start. So, but yeah, I think it was finally time to do it. You know, I mean, the way things are going now out there in the world, it's the words still work. I mean, once in a while there's a song like that comes out and it just seems so appropriate for the time, but it keeps working and working, and it's in one ways that's great for the song, but it's not so good that things don't change much in that end of things, you know. So I mean, like Alice's "I'm 18," you know, that song still works, you know. I mean, kids can relate to those lyrics, you know, or "Living on the Edge," or once in a while you nail one of those, like something that's timeless, but it's like right in the. And again, there's not a lot of ambiguity in the song. It's just it, you know. So I'm really glad to be able to do it, and we'll probably do it tonight.
I remember going to Leominster to go swimming when I was 11, and we're in the car with Mom and my aunt and my brothers and sisters and stuff, and on the radio is Eve of Destruction. And then you change the channel and it's Eve of Destruction. You couldn't get away from it. And I just remember the memory of driving. We were laughing because the song was ever present.
It was huge, but then you got to remember, I mean, and people don't, there's a lot of people out there that are listening to this that don't know that didn't live through that era. And it was really, really tense. I mean, you know, people were going off to Vietnam and, you know, not coming back, or coming back in pieces, or, I mean, just everything. It was, and the marches and the riots, and it was just really insane. I mean, people were shooting. I mean, the shootings at Kent State. I mean, it was a really intense time. So, and that's reflected in the lyrics. So, but every generation is dealing with their politics. They're trying to find their way in the world, and the world is sometimes it isn't a very warm and fuzzy place, you know.
Joe, I would love to talk about every track on the album with you when you do have time, because this record is so well crafted. Is Johnny Depp on drums on Eve of Destruction? Yeah.
It was the only thing I could get him to do actually on it. I mean, besides, you know, sit in and come by and help move the project along, you know, which is what he did. I mean, he inspired it, because I really wasn't planning on doing it at all. I was finishing up the book, and I figured, well, that's great. Hadn't given any thought to doing another solo record, and he came in and said, you know, why don't you do it out here in my studio? You know, you haven't done one for a while, and I think you can do your best one yet. You know, I forget what he said, but it was like, you know, I couldn't not, you know, I couldn't turn it down, you know, because it was just great the way he said it. I can't put it exactly the same way, but it was kind of like he threw the gauntlet down in a very friendly way and said, I know you can do your best one, you know, and that was it. And of course, a lot more conversation, and, you know, I went up, checked out the studio, and we spent a lot of time, you know, in there hanging out. And then we, like I said, we cut that track. That was it, and that was in 2012, and then I kind of worked on the record off and on between Aeorsmith tours and Hollywood Vampire tours and soundtrack work that I was doing in the studio, and and all that. So it took a while to get it going, and then this last year or so, I had time that I could work, and as it turned out, Tony, my second youngest son, who's 30s now, has become a really accomplished engineer, and he and I finished the record, and finished up editing and doing the overdubs and that kind of thing, and then he mixed it, and that's it. So it's weird because in 2012 he wouldn't have been able. He was still getting his chops together, but I think he might have still been in his band with his brother too at that time. So I'd have to look at the calendar and see exactly how that worked out. But he had moved out to L.A. and was working, and he's got great ears. So it was a real pleasure working with him.
Well, you can tell Johnny Depp that some guy who saw you at the Box in Kenmore Square and the Frolics Ballroom and the Orpheum thinks that he's right. This is your best solo, in my opinion.
Well, you'll probably run into him one of these days. He's all over the place, and hey, he came to Boston to shoot that Whitey Bulger movie. So you never know. But yeah, when I see him, I'll let him know. So we should be getting together next. Probably the end of the month to finish off the new Vampires record and get ready for our tour in Europe. Because we start at the end of May, and then we're in Europe until July. So yeah, so I'll definitely be seeing him.
Now, Joe, in my studio playing today is Karen Grenier. Could you say hello to Karen? She's just a great singer.
Hey, Karen, how you doing? Is she there now?
Oh yeah, in studio.
Oh, cool. Well,
there we go.
Good luck.
Hey, thanks.
Sure.
No,
I guess we both could use a little luck today.
Did you used to be affiliated with that mountain, right?
Oh, she wants to know if you were affiliated with the Mountain Blue restaurant.
Mountain Blue.
Yeah, I was. It was part owner of that place with Stephen and another friend of ours, and it was. I loved it there. It was a lot of fun having that place.
I sang at that place a few times.
Really, that's great. I hope they treated you well. I mean, that was one of the reasons why we ended up closing, at least not being part of it, because we weren't in town enough really to help keep things moving the way it should. And but at the time it was a lot of fun. It was a great place. I remember having my 50th birthday there. It was crazy. So anyway, hope you had a good time.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Joe, thank you so much. We're going to have to split because the next guy, Alan James Patterson, is up with his show, Voices of Time. But
okay.
The good news is you've been added to the Boston Free Radio Library, so any of our DJs can play your record.
Great. Well, we'll talk and see when we can fill in some of the blanks and talk about some of the things more specifically. But are you coming to the show tonight?
I don't know. Should I?
I think so. I mean, it's going to be. Gary's going to be there, so you got to come.
Will Terry Reid be there?
Terry Reid will be there, and in fact, that's why I want to get to the sound check as soon as I can, because he's going to make the sound check, and he's really something. If you don't know who he is, you will after tonight. And if you do, he's as good as he ever was. He's singing great. So I think it would be it'd be really a shame just to miss him. I'll tell you.
All right, Joe. Good luck with the show, and I hope to see you tonight. And thank you so much for calling in.
Sure. Thanks. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.